Due to negative stereotypes and age-old suspicions, racism continues to affect the lives of many worldwide. In today's society, while many agree that racism is unethical, it continues to occur due to the lack of knowledge that some hold. In The Blood of Emmett Till, Timothy B. Tyson retells the horrifying story of Emmett Till, a young 14-year-old boy who was kidnapped, tortured, and eventually killed. Timothy B. Tyson did a splendid job of showing the present and past struggles of African Americans by exploring different characters, conflicts, forms, and purposes in The Blood of Emmett Till. To start, readers are able to appreciate and get more involved with the novel as Tyson develops the characters Emmett Till, Emmett Till's mother Mamie Bradley, and the bond that they had. Firstly, Mamie Bradley took steps towards change after Emmett Till's death. To prove, readers are shown that it was essentially his mother who took his death and made it revolutionary. She vowed to see that his killers were punished, but also insisted that the federal government must protect all black citizens. To explain, Mamie Bradley managed to transform her grief into something that affected thousands of people positively, showing just how strong she is. Next, due to the nature in which Emmett Till was murdered, there are no interviews or quotes that can tell readers a bit more about his personality. However, readers are able to get a feel of who he was based off what the people close to him said regarding him. Was Emmett ever in trouble in Chicago? Breland wanted to know. Mamie stated that he had never been. Based off this quote, readers instantly get a feel that Emmett Till was proper and respectable. This helps strengthen the sympathy readers feel for Emmett Till's hardships. Additionally, Emmett Till and Mamie Bradley's love for each other was expressed many times throughout the novel. To relate, Kanye West expresses how much he values his own mother when he wrote the song Hey Mama for her.
See you're unbreakable, unmistakable, highly capable, lady that's making loot, a living legend too.
To analyze, this specific song relates to how Kanye West and Emmett Till both love and value their mother. Additionally, it also relates to Mamie Bradley's personality, as she is shown as an icon who people look up to due to the tremendous amount of strength that she showed during and after her son's trial. To some, Mamie Bradley, Emmett Till, and their love for each other was often mentioned in The Blood of Emmett Till, helping readers get more involved with the novel. Furthermore, one of the main conflicts in the novel is racism. This conflict is expressed through particular examples, the public views, and white privileges. In the second chapter of The Blood of Emmett Till, Tyson focuses on racism in Chicago and how it affected people. One specific example was of a 16-year-old boy named Eugene Williams. A white man threw rocks at him, hitting Williams in the head, causing him to sink and drown. Rather than arrest the assailant, white police officers hauled off a black bystander who objected their inaction. To explain the external human versus human conflict between Williams and the white man, as well as between the bystanders and the officers, was stemmed from an internal human versus self conflict that caused the white man and police officers to believe that they had the right to discriminate Williams and the bystander like that. Next, in The Blood of Emmett Till, racism is shown in many ways. To explain, one way it was expressed was when Tyson showed how white Americans felt about intermarriage. It won't be long now, and Negroes and white intermarrying will be a common thing, and the white race will go downhill. The conflict shown is a human versus self internal conflict. The white Americans have a fear of their culture getting impure, which they believe is what happens when two people of different races get married. Moreover, Tyson often made a point to express the fact that African Americans are forced to endure horrible conditions due to the color of their skin. To relate, in the song Hold You Down, Childish Gambino addresses white privilege when he sings,
We all look the same to the cops, ain't that good enough? The black experience is black and serious, cause being black, my experience is no one hearing us. White kids get to wear whatever hat they want. When it comes to black kids, one size fits all.
African Americans are being labeled and discriminated across the nations, resulting in them living a harder life. This generalization that all African Americans are the same is an internal conflict that has an external consequence. To conclude, racism is a very significant conflict in The Blood of Emmett Till that was shown through real occurrences, fear of intermarriage, and white privileges. Next, Tyson expresses different racial issues that have occurred by using real facts and literary devices, as shown through the use of particular events, statistics, and symbolism. In The Blood of Emmett Till, Tyson uses facts to hold the reader's attention long enough for his message to be conveyed. One example was when he talked about racial issues during the 1900s. It sparked massive mob violence against the black community in Springfield, Illinois in 1908, the fiery pogroms in East St. Louis in 1917, in which perhaps 200 blacks died, and Tulsa in 1922, in which as many 300 blacks died and 10,000 were left homeless. The use of the objective evidence emphasizes the horrors and hardship African Americans had to face back then. Furthermore, Tyson also uses specific statistics from today's society. To show, Tyson talks about the racism that is present in today's society when he says, the criminal justice system in some states imprisons black men on drug charges at a rate 20 to 50 times higher than those of white men. To explain this fact, it was very effective in grabbing the reader's attention so that they have no choice but to acknowledge the truth behind his words. Next, Tyson often talks about how racism is an aspect in society that continues to affect people, even after all this time. To link, J. Cole sings about racism in today's society in his song Caged Birds.
I see the judge's eyes, I know that he ain't understanding me, a caged bird. Yeah, caged bird. Yeah, caged bird. Freedom's just an illusion, that's my conclusion.
To explain, a bird that is locked up symbolizes imprisonment and isolation. This relates to all the African Americans who are in many ways trapped. They struggle to escape the stereotypes that label them as criminals, which leads to things such as a corrupt law system and a general injustice. To some, the use of facts and literary devices help present many racial issues which were shown through real situation, detailed statistics, and symbolism. Moreover, Tyson develops the central idea that racism is an ongoing cycle by giving his bias about things such as the interior motives behind racism, hypocrisy, and the steps needed for change. To begin, one of the most prominent times that the author gave his bias was shown when he said, the white men carried out their brutal errands in an atmosphere created by the Citizens Council, the Ku Klux Klan, and the massive white opinion. To explain, this relates to today's society because it shows that allowing racist actions and slurs to be used freely allows future generations to follow this path of racism. Additionally, in The Blood of Emmett Till, Tyson talks to readers about hypocrisy in America. This is shown when Tyson talks about how America must confront their past, specifically regarding discrimination against darker colored individuals. The bloody and unjust arc of our history will not bend upward if we merely pretend that history did not happen here. We cannot transcend our past without confronting it. To elaborate, the message that Tyson is trying to convey is that by acknowledging the bad that has occurred in history, society can learn from this and work towards being more acceptable and respectful. Continuing, for a real change to occur, individuals must look deep within themselves. Kendrick Lamar expresses this idea in his song High Powers.
So get up off that slave ship, build your own pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs.
Which was followed up with Alori Joy singing As the song continues, Kendrick Lamar and Alori Joy state that it is time for change and encourage individuals to redefine the stereotypes that hold them down. To end, Tyson's purpose was shown when he expressed the idea that society can work towards true equality by not allowing racist actions to go without punishment, acknowledging the bad that has occurred in history, and coming together for one common goal. To conclude, through the use of character, conflict, form, and purpose, Timothy B. Tyson was able to successfully represent the past and present struggles of the African American community. In The Blood of Emmett Till, Timothy B. Tyson educates readers about the story of Emmett Till before and after his murder. In today's society, racism is viewed as a negative attribute, but it continues to spread due to the ignorance of people. Racism proceeds to disturb the lives of many due to stereotypes and the wariness that lingers and gets passed on from generation to generation. Racism is a powerful and dangerous notion that has been a part of society for much too long. It is time for society to rid itself of this degrading concept that continues to limit the opportunities of many.